All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Bakar Kodash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, a great millstone for teaching his word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect, Lord willing, with some of those men and women. Hey, I'm the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick response video. And I was looking at the brother GMS News a month. His video is entitled "E Looks Down on You, Jakes," right? And this shows uh, E, meaning Esau, so-called white man, uh, his and her one discontent for you Israelites. They look at Jake. They look at especially you so-called Negroes, you so-called blacks here in America, the tribe of Judah. These devils they look at us like we're ignorant children, It's like the simplest things, these Edomites in their minds, from whatever they've been indoctrinated with, they believe that, the so-called Negro lacks any real intelligence, man. And so in this video, the brother was going into about some of these so-called intellectual Edomites, these Edomites in these colleges, right? And they were asked a question about regarding voting, which if you're a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, uh, go back to your father's side, you shouldn't be voting anyway for these devils, right? Because it don't matter if you vote red or blue or green, it's not gonna be in your favor. Some people don't have your best interests, all right, and plus they're not one of our people. So that's another lesson for another time. But just these Edomites in their minds, the so-called Negroes lacks any basic understanding, one, or basic understanding of goods and services that they need. And I just wanted to bring it out because the majority of these Edomites, they don't even deal with Jake on a daily basis. They don't interact with Jake on a daily basis. This is something that they contrived in their own head. Like the person said, what world are they living in? Well, they're living in the world of the Edomites. Just like in our kingdom, these Edomites are not going to be a concern unto us. Their needs, their wants, their abilities is not going to be a concern unto us. The only time we will deal with them is if we have to deal with them. Likewise, these Edomites, they do us the same way. All right. And when they speak about us, they speak in an oppressive manner, condescending, um, a ignorant manner, you know. And I just want to just kind of like land back and make this a quick video. This shouldn't be a long video, but I want to play this real quick.
Don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or like they're not informed. I also
You and you only whisper when you don't want somebody to hear, or if you're doing something that you don't want to let out. But just watch that mannerism right there.
have data. For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or like they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of like black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
Right. So she said basically that black people and African Americans in America can't access voting because the majority of black people in Florida have felonies, so they can't vote. Let me play that again. This is what they think of you, Jakes.
Because they're not aware or like they're not.
Yeah, they think you're not aware, you're not informed, which you're not informed on how the political system truly works in this country, right? But just to show you the simplicity and ignorance of these Edomites and their mindsets toward us, they think that like when they're living in like the future and we're living in like in the 1800s. Jake don't know how to go and vote. Jake don't know how to get IDs. Jake don't know how to get Jake. The majority of Floridians have felony records. Let me see something. Right here. This is I looked this up. I just asked, who has the highest felony record in Florida by race, and it says because blacks, which that would be so-called Negroes, are more likely than whites to be arrested, convicted, and harshly sentenced. And this comes from oppression. Blacks end up with felony records at disproportionately high rates. The felony records in turn disqualify them for voting in Florida. And you can go to racial biases. And that's what these Edomites have. They have racial biases. you know, and that includes the fact that you may or may not know how to get an ID. Matter of fact, let me play this real quick.
Like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
Down here in East Harlem,
This is an educated racism.
Yeah, you have to have access to the
It's so-called intellectual racism, you know, because they look at you as 3/4 of a man. They look at you as incapable of doing anything, even taking care of your own basic needs. And that's not the case at all. But that's just these Edomites' natural biases for us. Real quick, I want to read this real quick. This is the book of Psalms chapter 50, verse 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. Right? Now, we so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we're more closer to Esau in relation to anybody on this planet, right? Because we come from the same father, same mother. But what did this devil do? He slanders us, right? He speaks against us, right? It says in the NLT, you sit around and slander your brother, your own mother's son. And that's what you're going to hear come out of these people's mouths is complete slander. All right. And the definition for slander is the action or crime of making false spoken statements, damaging a person's reputation, to make false and damaging statements about someone. And all of these statements that these Edomites make, they're false. They may be ill-informed. They may just be, you know, it just must be their hatred for Jake. But either way, all the shit that they're saying is false.
You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for a certain fee.
Like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
down here in East Harlem,
This is an educated racism.
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay.
Yeah, these Edomites Edomites act like we don't have access to the internet. Like we're just all living on a backwater town. Everybody in this fucking country pretty much got a cell phone. Your cell phone gives you free access to the internet. What is this guy talking about? Social media, all of that. But according to this guy, black people don't have access to phones. They believe that so-called black people don't even have phones. It's like we're living in a stone age, man. You know what I'm saying? And they must be living in the golden age.
down here in East Harlem,
This is an educated racism.
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
So he says that you have to be able to pay an internet service provider. So according to them, so-called black people can't even afford internet or access to the internet. And you know that shit comes from these high political office Edomites too. They say that same thing. Oh, blacks don't have access to the internet. Where the fuck you think we living at? Everybody got access to the internet, man.
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, they might have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or like they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of like black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
Down here in
Did you catch the whisper? Did you catch that whisper that while you whispering, you know, you only whisper when you don't want somebody to hear or
Yeah.
you're doing something that you don't want to let out.
The like African Americans.
down here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just
Yeah,
heard.
and that's another thing. That whole black shit. Like we're not black, bro. Like that term black is a government term. That term does not signify a nation of people. That's the first thing. You know, like these always proverbs. This is how they know us. These nations know us by proverbs. They don't and bywords. They don't know us by our nationality, man. They don't address us by our nationality. All right. This is and that's a curse, right? That's a curse. Deuteronomy 28:37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. Right? It says in the NLT, it says, and you will become an object of horror, ridicule, mockery. So when they call you black, African American, they're mocking us, they're ridiculing us among all nations. And you see that all these nations have something negative to portray of our people. And it don't help that, our people give in to these stereotypes. But that's not who we are. We're not thugs. We're not black. We're not African. We're the Israelites, man. All right? Are the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, right? And among all the nations to which the Lord sends you. So we become a mockery, a ridicule, a horror, you know? So much so in 2024, these people believe that you lack you lack access to the basic needs, which there are people in poverty. Poverty does exist in this country, and it disproportionately affects so-called people of color, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in this country. But hey, even a person in a bum has access to a Obama phone and it's on the internet, bro. Yeah, but it just their mindset. They think you're incapable of voting. That's why every so often they got to renew the whole Voting Rights Act, right? Because they believe that you're incapable of voting, and that you can't even go down the street and go cast a vote because according to them, your mind is not developed.
Do you have ID, Lola? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has ID. Why would they think we don't have ID? That's a lie. Why would you say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
I have my ID. My friends have their ID. So.
Yeah, everybody in this fucking country got an ID, bro. Now, if a nigga got it on him or got it home, that's like your slave papers, bro. You have to have ID on you. You have to have something that identifies you. And majority of us grow up knowing that it has to be with us when we're in these streets.
We know what we need to carry around.
See, everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy camera?
I know.
Jake, and really, this is not informative. This is really a mockery. We just read it in Deuteronomy 28:37. These Edomites making a mockery of Jake. They come down and they interview. They ain't doing this to the Edomite. They don't go up to Park Avenue and interview them Edomites and ask them if they know how to get an ID. And which the majority of them don't even know. They don't know what a fucking DMV is. And they got smartphones. And they got Google Maps. Right? But Jake know where shit is at, bro. We grew up in this country just like the rest of y'all. But we live in two Americas, right? We live in two different worlds. Right? That's why we say this world that we live in, this is Esau's world. He's exalted in his world. Even his lies, right? Because that's all he do anyway. St. John 8:44, ye are of your father, the devil. This is our people who wanted to follow Esau, mainly Caesar, right, in his system. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Right? In the NLT it says, for you are the children of your father, the devil. You love to do the evil things he does. And that's what 2/3 of our people love to do, right? The evil that this man does. And when they say the devil, y'all associate that with the spiritual demon Satan, and it's not. This is Esau Edom, this is so-called white man. For ye are of your father, the devil, and you love to do the evil things he does. He was a murderer from the beginning. He was Cain. He was Esau. He has always hated truth because there's no truth in him. When he lies, it is consistent with his character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. And that's what Esau is. And you can see it in this, right? Here it is. We are the oppressed people in this country, extremely oppressed. So much so that life is we're at a disadvantage the moment we come into this world, right? The moment we breathe air in this world, we're at an extreme disadvantage. But even Esau just think you're like animals. Like you need to be managed by him. He has to watch over you because you don't know how to do things. That's according to him, which is all slander because our people are capable of that.
All right. That's the only thing I brought with me.
Look, Jake,
Is it a weird thing?
And Jake out here, Jake got a poorly ID out. Again, this is no different than your slave papers.
You can say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this? Some type of trick candy camera?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
That's like that. What's that saying?
I know it's that. It's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is, right?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
If you have a problem getting there, if you have to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Let's check it.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet.
Yeah, it's absolute fucking stupidity, bruh. But this is how these Edomites think. These are the people that you put in office. These are the people that you vote to put in office. These are the people that you put your trust in, right? That's why the scripture says, woe to him that put his trust in man and make it flesh his arm. Because this dude is going to let you down every time. But see, they don't look at oppression the way the poor looks at oppression. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 13, verse 19, right? Chapter 13, verse 19. It says, as the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor, right? And the rich in this world will be the Edomites. As the proud hate humility, and who will be the proud in this world? Esau. Who will be the one that's humbled in the society? Jake, because we're at the lowest state. As the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor, right? And it says a rich man beginning to fall. No, that's not what I wanted. When a rich man speak, like a rich man speak. Salaki. I just want to give the other verse. 24. Riches are good. Yeah. This is verse 24. It says, riches are good unto him that have no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly, man. And so here it is, these Edomites, they're looking down. You know, some of them Edomites may come from wealthy families, some of them Edomites may come from middle class or upper middle class families. In their mind, us so-called black people are incapable of doing the most minimalist of things in this world. This is their mind, right? This is how they think, because they look at the poor as evil, right? So this is their mindset. And like the brother was talking, he was saying like this is intellectual racism, or and that's exactly what it is, man. And it's really called systematic racism, right? The oppression of a racial group to the advantage of another, right? Because they leave the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans in these decrepit areas of the country called ghettos, barrios, or reservations, where you lack access to the basic necessities of life, right? Where you lack access to things, where these Edomites, they're at a great advantage in this country. They have access to everything. They understand somewhat their political landscape. They understand the political process. They've had access to voting, so they can put their people in office, right? The oppression of a racial group to the advantage of another, as perpetrated by inequity, right, within interconnected systems such as political, economic, and social systems, man. And the internet, that's part of a social system, right? Going to go get access to getting ID, that's a social system. And really, these politicians, they push that out there. Oh, the black people and the voter registration and voter fraud. They say the reason why that happened because certain communities of so-called black people don't have access to ID, so they can't vote. Which really, it's a lot of these immigrants that's coming into this country that may lack those basic things. And even now, they're just opening up the doors, giving it to them, right? So everybody can have a form of ID so that when they vote, the vast majority of so-called blacks that don't vote in this country understand to a point that the system is not for them. So why play an active role in it, right? Why get involved in it? It's not because Jake lacked access to IDs and the internet and don't know their way around. Like you need somebody to hold your hand, right? Esau can't see the world without him, and he definitely can't see us living in this world without his so-called assistance, man. Right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 73. Um, I'll start at verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men. This is the wicked. Who is the wicked? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, woman, and child. Neither are they plagued like other men, right? So they don't have the problems that other men have. They don't have the sickness that other men have, man. In the NLT, it says they don't have troubles like other people. Who are the other people? The Israelites. They are not plagued with problems like everyone else, right? Who's everyone else? The Israelites. These Edomites, they're not plagued with problems, so they don't understand. They don't understand where the so-called Negro in this country is coming from, because they're not in trouble like other men, right? They're not plagued like other men, right? Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. And when those Edomites in this video were speaking, there was nothing but pride coming off their mouth. It was ignorant, but it was still pride nonetheless. Okay. It says, um, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, and violence covered them as a garment. Right. Here it is. They push that violence um personality, or they put that violent characteristic on our people. Yeah, Jake is out here doing violent acts and committing crimes, but it's overwhelmingly, their communities are overwhelmingly policed, whereas the Edomites community barely see a cop. Right, their community is not overly policed. All right, it's they're not thrown into jail disproportionately to their numbers in this country. Right, Esau is the most violent man on the earth, the so-called white man. Everything he's done, he did it through violence, man. So violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than their heart could wish. Absolutely. Right? So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans in this country, we don't have more than our heart could wish for. We don't even know what that feel like. It says these fat cats have everything their heart could ever wish for. And that's exactly what they are, fat cats. Right? So they don't know what it's like to lack access, because they're being barred or blocked, right? Because oppression comes in many forms. And we were just talking about systematic oppression or systematic racism, right? They bring up the Civil Rights Act and all of that. But what transpired from that? At one point, Esau had to cheat the system and bar so-called blacks from voting, and that your vote didn't count. Or if it did, it only counted for 3/5 of a man, right? They had you jakes marching and picketing, begging a white man to allow you to vote, right? So these people, these Edomites, look at Jake today in 2024 like it's 1955, like it's 1966, where y'all ain't had no access to no voting. You were being blocked at the polls, and all you're being bullied from the polls, killed for going to the polls, right? Who would want to get involved in a system where they were being extremely oppressed, trying to vote, trying to make their vote count in this country? So that's another reason why it's instilled in Jake in his country not to get involved in this stupid political system, right? But Esau don't understand that because he ain't never been through that. It says, they set their, I'm slacking. They are corrupt. They are corrupt. Verse 8, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully, yeah? Right? And in the NLT, it says they scoff and speak only evil. And that's all the Edomites were doing. In their pride, they seek to crush others, right? And the NIV says they scoff and speak with malice and arrogance. They threaten oppression, and that's exactly what these Edomites was doing in this video. They were speaking lawfully, they were speaking arrogantly, right? And they just think that you lack the basic. You see, the Edomites, you get into these high level colleges, and you believe that you're smart. The shit that you learning there makes you intellectually smart, and it doesn't. You're just as dumb as the next person, right? A lot of jakes didn't even go to so-called college and are extremely way more informed and intelligent and knowledge than you Edomites, right? And that just really shows the Edomites disconnect. Edom has a disconnect, And that's, you don't see them championing for Jake, asking what's going to happen to Jake. They don't care. But on the flip side, you got our people. They're worried about what's going to happen to Esau and the kingdom. They worried about if he can make it. They worried. No, these people are nothing, right? So worrying about them is nothing, right? And all they do is slander you, accuse you, lie against you, right? You got something called scientific racism, racial biology. It says that scientific racism, sometimes termed a biological racism, is a pseudo scientific belief that the human species is divided into biologically distinct taxa called races, and that the empirical evidence exists to support and justify racial discrimination, right? And we don't have to, in our kingdom, we ain't gonna have to oppress you. We're not going to use so-called race to oppress you. No, you're Edomite, you're a heathen. You're going to get it. You getting judged. You getting oppressed because you oppress people. It ain't got nothing to do with your skin color. It ain't got nothing to do with what you say. It's your heathen. You're separate. You're beneath, right? Because that's what these Edomites do to us. They use racial discrimination on so many levels. So here it is. You got the world against you. You born with your back against the wall, and these Edomites expect you to just live your life like they live in their life. Plus, you don't even have basic access to basic needs, according to them, right? So,
Even little kids can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
Don't use it properly.
Exactly. I do it at work. So of course I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data.
So this what the main point is here is that I see you got to look deeper into it. There's a systematic, it's a underlying
yep,
oppression.
yeah, it is absolutely, man. And that's all we face here in this country is systematic oppression. And Edomites speak proudly of our systematic oppression, right? And so with that, I'm gonna say shalom and on to the next.